We are in an exciting part of the event. I am jumping up and down like a jelly bean on the inside because our keynote speaker is here, Dr. Felicia Phillips, and she is going to drop, when I tell you drop, some nuggets and some amazing information on us. Please get out your notepad and get ready. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Dr. Felicia Phillips.
Who is Dr. Felicia Phillips? Well, let me tell you. I've built my 30-year entrepreneurial career on serving, educating, and mentoring small and diverse businesses, as well as assisting corporations with their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I understand the obstacles that come with being a small business owner, which is why I created MogulCon, a platform for Black women-owned businesses to come and get the tools, resources, relationships, and opportunities they need to build profitable businesses. Over the last 5 years, we've built our own ecosystem that has provided these women with capital, contracts, and an increase in their cash flow. I stand on 4 pillars: faith, service, community, and philanthropy. Now you know who Dr. Felicia Phillips is.
I have to do a round of applause. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I feel like that intro, it gave us a snippet of who you are. So please, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming and being our keynote speaker, Dr. Phillips.
Hey, thank you. Listen, I am looking at all of these beautiful women, powerful women who are on this broadcast with you today. And kudos to you for putting this together and hosting this event. I think we need to be giving you a round of applause for bringing us all together. And I know what that feels like, right? I know in putting events together, it is never easy, right? But you're doing a phenomenal job. Corey, thank you so much. And to you, Kaden, for extending the invite and allowing me to be a part of your platform.
Absolutely. Thank you. Now I'm all like flustered and stuff.
Don't be. Let's
how do we start? Where do we start? Okay, so you know what? We'll just get right into it.
Let's do it.
So I read, because I'm a researcher by nature, and I read that this year's Women's History theme is a continuation of last year, 2020. And for those who didn't know what it was the valiant women of the vote refusing to be silent. So my question to you, being this phenomenal powerhouse woman who has held space in many arenas, and your consulting firm being a 2-time award-winning consulting firm, I would like to ask you, how would you summarize your experience in these various industries, like from beginning to now?
So I'm gonna go back a few years. Probably a lot of people here have engaged me as a business strategist or business coach, as people like to say. But when I first started my business, my very first business was in durable medical equipment. I was serving terminally ill patients. And that was not easy. It was a very male dominated industry. I was young, I was 19 at the time that I started this business, and I was attending Georgia State. So you got youth. I'm a woman, I'm a Black woman right on top of that. And I'm in the medical equipment industry. But here's what I want to tell you. I've never allowed my voice to be silenced, even sometimes at my own detriment, okay? Because when I set my mind to something, that's what I'm going to do. And I will tell you, that has come from the shoulders, from the women whose shoulders I stand on. When I think about my great grandmother, who was raised in Barnesville, Georgia, she wanted to come to Atlanta to be in business. She wanted to go to college, but her father did not believe in women going to school. And the only way she could leave the farm was to be married. And so that's what she did. And it was not the best situation for her. She was in a very abusive situation. She had married an older man, but she got to Atlanta. That's what she wanted. And she enrolled herself in Booker T. Washington High School. And she graduated with her GED, and she began to work as a maid. And I'm sharing this story because it is because of her that I have never allowed my voice to be silenced. When she came here and she got that education and she started working as a maid, she saved her money because she knew she wanted to build a home. And in what we know as Vine City here in Atlanta, she bought an entire street, and she sold some property to her brother, her sister. Then she had a daycare center, a salon. And when I was 16, she called me over and she said, I see you. I see something different in you. And I remember that day because she took me straight to the bank that day. And she said, I'm not just telling you this, I'm going to invest in you. And she took, it might have been about $500 and opened a checking account at Georgia Federal. And that meant a lot to me because if she was willing to invest that money, and I was just 16 years old, and to say, I see something in you, that made me take some responsibility for myself. And so whenever I think I might be afraid or someone is challenging me or trying to keep me from being heard, I think of her. And I think of all the work that she did. She built schools, churches. She was a phenomenal woman. And I am here because of her.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, like that message for me, it hits home because that's where it starts. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people, they'll say, oh, their dad influenced them or whatever the case may be. But for me too, like my mom is my rock. She has influenced all the moves that I make from the time I walked to now where I am sitting across from, virtually sitting across from you, getting to
Right,
talk to you.
right,
So
right.
yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it. So my next question to you would be in business, like of everything that you've done, um, what would be a message you would give to a young woman embarking on this journey to be an entrepreneur and a business owner and so on and so forth?
Passion will fuel you, but it won't pay the bills, right? You got to have a strategy. You got to have a plan. You got to have a budget, right? We talk a lot about passion and purpose, but sometimes if you're a young woman and you're just starting out, you don't know either sometimes. And I think that people, we live in this social media world, right? Where everybody's got this passion and purpose. Well, what the stats show us is that we go into business out of necessity, not opportunity, not passion, not purpose. We evolve to that, right? We work our way to that. So if you're going to start something, plan it out, have a strategy. I don't care what business you go into, you're going to have some money, right? If you want that business to be successful, you're going to have some money. And you're going to have a little tunnel vision, right? A lot of times when you get these ideas and you jump out here, everybody else starts to see your success and then they want you to jump on their bandwagon. But sometimes you got to stay committed to you in order to be successful. I always say you got to do this one thing, and you got to do that one thing every day until you're known for it, until you're making money at it. And then when you're successful at that one thing, because sometimes we spread ourselves too thin. We have all these ideas and all this creativity, but you're spreading yourself so thin that you're seeing just a little bit of success here and there. Stay focused. Stay on the right path until you get to where you want to go.
Thank you. Thank you for the reminder, like stay
Hey,
focused. That is a huge,
it's
huge,
easy
huge
to get
gift.
distracted.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So my next question for you is, well, you have a foundation.
I
So
do.
if you guys don't already know, Dr. Felicia Phillips has founded a foundation called the 1 Million Dreams Foundation for Black Women and Girls. Now, with you helping all of these women be just as phenomenal as yourself, if you had a mentor, what would you ask that mentor?
That's a loaded question, right? It's so funny because as a business person, you're like, oh, I can ask. Let me ask for some money. Let me ask for contracts. Let me ask for opportunity, right? Because here's the truth. When I first started, I did not have a mentor. Like my family, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. And my dad was a business owner. My uncles were business owners. And I hung out with them, right? Even as a kid. if I had a mentor, and I do have one, the things I ask for are more strategy, right? More introductions, right? Because what we sometimes struggle with are relationships, having the right relationships, because it can take only one relationship that can change the whole trajectory of your business, right? But you have to have a plan with that. I go back to the plan, because if you ask me for the relationship, and I say yes, and then I make the introduction and you go in the room and you are not ready, do you think I'm going to do that again? No, I'm not. I'm not, because now my reputation is at stake. And so when you have a mentor, you also have to think about, what do you bring to the table, right? It can't always be one-sided, right? What do you bring to the table? And especially as, and I'm going to say this, grown women, it's one thing to have a mentor when you're in high school and college. But when you are a businesswoman and you want a mentor, you need to come to the table with something too, because your mentor's time is probably short, small, right? They don't have a lot of time. They're always busy. So you need to think through the relationship before you put the gas out there.
Thank you. Please, I hope you all wrote that down. If you didn't write it down, recorded it on your phone. Yes, yes, ask for advice. Yes, Lorna. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for dropping that information.
My
I want to
pleasure.
give you time to just not even me ask you any questions, but you just speak to us. Share with
Yeah,
us.
no, I like asking the questions, because I think, and please, you all, as you're watching, type your questions in the chat. I think, virtual fatigue is real, right?
Mhm.
We're on Zoom and Teams and webcasts and all this all day.
Yeah.
And I think it's better when you get to have a conversation. At the end of last year, I was asked to speak at this conference, and I always try to come with something different. And for me, this is very much a faith-based journey. If you ever hear me speak, one of the things I always say is that entrepreneurship is the most faith-based journey you will ever go on. This is 31 years for me. Don't try to add it up. 31 years, right? And people say, how do you last? Like, here we are in a pandemic, right? We've gone through seeing our economy crash. I've never had to stop and go get a job. You know why? Because I had a plan. I've always had a plan, and I had to have a plan, because guess what? I've been married, I've been divorced, 2 kids in tow. I've had to take care of my parents because my father's disabled, right? I'm a caregiver. I have a lot of responsibility. I cannot leave things to chance. And when you want to be successful, success is intentional, right? It's intentional. It doesn't happen on a whim. And one of the things that you'll notice is obedience and discipline comes with this. You have to be disciplined at this. That's why I said you have to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to put my efforts, my time, my money, my sweat equity towards this every single day. See, here's what I find a lot of times. People will say, I want to be in business. And then let's say something happens, you get a package from your job and you say, I'm going to go into business. Now, when you work that job, you work 60 plus hours a week and you only had to do 40. But for some reason, when you go in business for yourself, you have a hard time putting 20 hours a week, 20 good hours a week. The commitment and obedience is what leads to success, because we have to be disciplined at what we do. The other thing, more than anything, is our mindset. Every day before I look at my phone, before I return a call, before I read an email, I spend time with me. You know why? Because I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I can't be any good for you, for my clients, if I have not first taken time for myself. Now, listen, sometimes that sounds impossible when you have children or you're doing other things, but I just told you a litany of things that I have going on in my life, right? But I still make time. If that means I got to get up 30 minutes earlier, an hour earlier, I in recent years changed my entire lifestyle. It's something interesting when you get on the road to 50, right? So this year is 50, the big
No
50.
way.
And you start reevaluating things in your life. And I'm looking at, okay, I think back to when I had those little kids and they were 2 and 5, and I was running a full-time business. And I want to take you back to something, because, people always talk about the good things, right? The success that you see online. But I'm going to tell you, there was a point in my life when I was in my first marriage. I married just like my great grandmother. This is so funny how history repeats itself. I married a man that was much older than me. And the differences, and we all know this as women, we've been in relationships. Sometimes they do a lot of things to get you. And then when they get you, oh boy, there's a different story, right? And so as I began to get older and mature, I started to realize this is not the life that I want for myself. We have to do that in business sometimes too. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror, because Revlon is not going to always be the one to give you a revelation. Sometimes the revelation has to come from within. And sometimes you got to look yourself in the mirror and be bold and bad enough to say, this is not working. Because see, what happens is we spend all this money. We're building websites, building brands. We got a few little followers over here. We think, oh, I can't change now, because if I change now, everybody's going to, discredit me and not think that I don't know what I'm doing. Be true to thine self. We live in an age where people are doing things for other people. And then when they're not successful, they tend to wonder why. It's because you betrayed yourself, your vision. See, you got to have a vision for not just your business, but for your life and for yourself. And I want to share something with you that I was writing some things down. And there are 6 components to a vision, right? 1, it has to be imaginable. I like to do an exercise with people sometimes where I'll say, just close your eyes. What do you see yourself doing in your business? Right now, I'm in the middle of building what I consider to be my dream home, right? 31 years, I've worked hard enough. It's time, right? And the first thing I did before I bought a plan, before I contacted a builder, before I went and looked at land, I closed my eyes to see, what could I imagine? When I saw it, did I desire it? Was it desirable, right? Is it going to motivate me to go out and make it happen? But then I had to take a step back and say, is this even feasible right now? Is it realistic? Can I actually obtain this? Once I got through those first 3 steps, then I had to get focused. I had to get laser focused, because I had to provide the guidance of how I was going to make that happen. Right? We got to do those same things in our business. The other thing I had to do was understand that I'm in changing conditions. This is a volatile moment in our economy, right? In our world, right? So I got to be flexible as I do this. Same thing for your business. You got to be flexible in light of changing conditions. The last thing, and I think out of everything I've said, this is the most important. Can you communicate it? Can you communicate the vision? Because if you can't communicate it, who's going to buy into it? Who's going to believe it, right? And if you can't explain the vision in 5 minutes, you've lost them. You've got 5 minutes to capture them. So my question to you is, what is your vision? What is your vision? Does it fall into these 6 categories? Can you see it? Is it imaginable? Do you desire it? Is it feasible? Are you focused and flexible enough to make it happen? And can you communicate it? Because I believe success is our birthright. It is our birthright. But you have to believe it, because there's a saying, whatever you are seeking is seeking you, right? So whatever you get up, whatever you focus on, whatever you put your mind to, guess what? The universe has a funny way of bringing it right to you. I'll give you an example. Because we're in volatile times, right? I run a business, right? Today I came into the office because I wanted to be here in this moment with you, right? I wanted nothing to distract me. On Friday of last week, right, I started thinking about my employees, the people that work for me. It's important to me that they're able to live the life that they see for themselves, right? And what I understand as a business owner, and just like a lot of you that are on here who also have employees, there's a big responsibility that rests on your shoulders, right? People will say, what keeps you up at night? Right? What keeps me up at night is making sure that they're going to be provided for and taken care of, right? And so I share with you that I spend time with myself. I spend time with myself worshiping, big on worshiping. It is the reason I can say I've been in business 31 years, okay? My prayer life, it's a serious thing for me, okay? And so I got on my knees and I thought, God, where are you leading me? Because if he's giving me the vision, you know what else he's going to give me, Caden? The provision, right? But if I am trying to come up with all the answers, if I am trying to make it happen, what does the creator have to do? He can just step back and say, okay, you got it, right? What I'm saying is, because I said entrepreneurship is a faith-based journey, life is a faith-based journey, right? We've all been through something. But you, no matter what your faith is, you got to have something to believe in, something that sustains you through the trials, right? Something that brings you out on the other side to the victory. That's what we need. We have to be what? True to thyself. One thing I've empowered myself with are two things: no, and the gift of goodbye. We hold on to things for so long that are not good for us. We're so busy trying to please other people because we want to be liked, right? Overrated. Overrated. I want to be respected, right? And in order to be respected, you have to give respect. That's what's important to me. I try to live my life in a way, not for others to be like me, but to be like them, using the principles that I've empowered in my own life. I don't want you to be like me because that's not your path. You have your own path. I want to empower you with the tools, the resources, right? The principles that I've used in my own life to be successful so that you can shine. I don't want people to say, oh, you know what? I can tell that Felicia's her mentor. You know why? Because she dresses, looks, acts like her. No, I'm just a vessel. That's it. We've got to stop dimming our light in order to support other people's mediocrity. I had a young lady tell me, you know, when I get around my friends, I try not to talk too much about my business. I try not to, boy, that's got to hurt. Something that you love and you work hard for, that you got to dim your light so others feel better about themselves. I say, get you some new friends, get a new circle. Stop playing small. What we tend to do is put ourselves in a box. I'm encouraging you to do some out of the box thinking, do things differently, stop limiting yourself. I'm talking about magnanimous manifestation, right? But it starts with a mindset. Okay, I said a lot.
I'm sitting here stuck because you just touched on so much that I actually share with people. You start your day with you.
Yes.
Start it with you. If you don't understand who you are and what it is that you want, like, forget everything else. All that other stuff, it's not going to work. It's not. It's just not.
You know, we're distracted a lot. Oh my gosh, every day there's something on the news. If you're on social media, there's something in your timeline.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, you know, I said I'm a caregiver. My parents live with me. And my mom, I call her the roving reporter because what she understands about me is I'm very limiting. I don't watch television.
Same.
Because I don't want to be distracted, right? I am somewhat of an empath, and so it's very easy for me to get caught up, and I know that. So I limit what I allow to come into me. So I don't watch television. So as soon as I come home, the first thing she says is, I know you don't watch television. Let me tell you what's going on, right? And I appreciate that my family understands who I am. And that's something I do want to share with the ladies today. You know, a lot of times we have these audacious goals and visions, and then we just take off with it because that's what we do. We think I can multitask, right? I got stuff at home. I'm going to go ahead and kick this business off. I'm going to be successful. And you're just running and you're running and your family's walking like, are you going to tag me in? What are we doing? I don't know. Should I be a part? Am I a part of this? Am I included? Right? You've got to communicate with your family what your goals are, especially if you're a wife, if you're a mom. It's really important. For me, during those times, the hardest thing was I would miss recitals, plays, events. Why? I had made a commitment to my business, right? And my business is what took care of us. So I had to go to my family for the times that I couldn't be there, right? So that that love and representation for the children could be there, right? Sometimes we put so much pressure. I feel guilty. I feel guilty. I would ask my children, like, are you mad at me? Like, what's up? Like, we need to talk about this. Who's upset, right? And I'm going to tell you something my kids said. I said, it was a point. We were doing really, really well. And I said, I could retire in this moment and I can just be here with you. They looked at me and they said, Mom, why would you even say that? Like you wouldn't be happy. You'd be here, but you wouldn't be happy. And we wouldn't be happy either, right? Because we know you love what you do and we support you in that. No, we're not mad, right? Sometimes we're afraid of what they may say to us. But you all, a lot of times they just want to be let in on your success, on what it is that you're doing. They're your family, right? You may not always agree, but they're there. They can't support you. A lot of times women will say, my family doesn't support me. This person doesn't support me. They should support me. But did you take the time to let them in? Did you take the time to share the strategy? I'm gonna share something. Am I over time? Because
No,
you know
you're good.
I
You're
know,
good. You're
girl.
good. You're good. But yo, when you said I'll take questions, the questions are waiting for you. Go
All
ahead.
right, we gonna get into the question, but I want to share this.
Yeah.
So with my husband, initially, he was not on board. Okay. We married later in life, my second husband. We married later in life. And my husband I'm with now. And I was already used to being in control, running a business, right? Making a lot of money, whatever you want to call it. And he said one day, I will never forget this. And man, it hit me that I didn't let him in. I thought I did, but I didn't. I said, you're the head of the household. And I forgot what we were talking about. And I said, you should lead us in prayer. And he looked at me and he said, oh, today I'm the head of the household. That stung, but I knew he was telling the truth. I had to look at the woman in the mirror, right? Because I had prayed about this, prayed about getting married, loved my husband, but I wasn't letting him lead. And when you suffocate someone, guess what? They fall in line. Yeah. He fell in line. So I had to do some inner work. And I'm sharing that because sometimes we can't be afraid to say, you know what? I was dead wrong, right? I need to do some inner work because what happens in your personal life affects your business life. But we tend to not want to be truthful with where we are and what we're doing. Well, in that moment, I had to bring some truth to myself. Guess what? He's the leader in our house today because I knew that we weren't going to be successful. I was headed down the path to another divorce. If I had not realized in that moment that I don't have to be in charge. I don't have to be in charge here. Let's get to those questions.
As Corey said, again, he said in the comments, drops mic. Drops mic. You know what? Before, I don't know. Corey, how do you want to do this? Because I want to hear about MogulCon. Like, I really want to hear about it. Do you want to do questions or?
Let's do the questions first,
Yeah,
and then we'll do a couple questions, and then we'll make sure we have at least 5-7 minutes, so she can talk exclusively about MogulCon.
Cool.
So, real good. Let's see here. Excuse me. I had a couple questions in the chat. Let's go to. Excuse me. Not COVID. Let's see here.
Gotta say that.
Pam Bradford wanted to know, how important is developing strategic relationships outside of your circle? What recommendations would you give in the Zoom/social media terms of developing relationships?
So, I always say, so first, who is it that you're looking for a relationship with, right? Because you got to know that. And I always tell my clients, who do you want to do business with, right? So we write down those top 10 companies, and I don't let them go past 10, right? Top 10 people, top 10 companies that they want to do business with. Then I have them write why. And this is all important, okay? And then we go and we look them up and we see who are they connected to, okay? One of the things, if I find somebody that nobody I know is connected to, when I reach out to them, I'm not asking them to do business with me or anything like that. It's usually I'm asking for advice. Why do I do that? Because people have egos. And the one thing people want to do is know that they're helping you in some way, right? And these are the people that I reach out to, right? So I'm telling you what has worked for me. So I'll reach out and say, hey, we're a small boutique consulting firm. We're looking at engaging XYZ. I noticed that you have a relationship with them and just was wondering if you might have some suggestions as to what would be the best way. In the meantime, here's my capability statement, and a little bit about myself for you to learn more information about me. Never fails. They hit me back. They always email me back. Hey, I'm glad you reached out. Happy to help. Here's what I think you should do. I cannot tell you how many relationships I build just from being humble, right? Not sure what I should do, but I notice that you're an expert in this or that you have a relationship with that. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Sometimes people just want to be appreciated for the experts that they are, right? So now why not meet them there? If you, and I'm talking about LinkedIn, which a lot of people are afraid to get on LinkedIn or engage on LinkedIn. But for me, it has worked very well. And my mentor I have now, I actually met him on LinkedIn.
Let's see here. Next question is from Miss Lorna. Did you start your nonprofit after you were established in business first? I see a lot of women, especially starting nonprofits when they have no profits in their for-profit business.
You know what? Running a nonprofit is just like running a for-profit business. Matter of fact, yeah, you will want to bring some entrepreneurial mindset to that nonprofit, right? In order for it to be successful. One, because raising money, fundraising, oh my goodness, it's hard. I waited until this point, and we are officially launching this fall. We are set up. We are 501c3. We are officially launching because I am in no rush. I want this to be right. But I waited because I know that I can now bring the relationships I have in business to the nonprofit. It's already funded, right? I wasn't in a rush. I proved who I was as a businesswoman first. I let my results speak for themselves. And then I started the nonprofit because I can say, look at our past performance. Look who we've worked with, the companies we've served. Here's our scorecard in these companies. It is excellent across the board, right? We always on time, in budget, right? On any project that we're on. And we're bringing those same principles, those same strategic moves that we've done in business to the nonprofit. People can get on board with that because they know the work that I've done. They know how I've served. They've either worked with me, they've participated in MogulCon, so they know what that's like. And these are the people that I went to for the initial funding for the nonprofit.
I have one more question, and this is from, let's see here. Corey Network King. He wants to know, is there anything that you're doing right now that you didn't think that you would be doing? Like you wouldn't have even thought that, that you would be
Or
doing
you
this.
took
But
my question.
is that your question?
Get out my brain, bruh.
You know what? It's a funny thing. And this is, I go back to something my great grandmother used to say: judge a tree by the fruit that it bears, right? I had a major corporation contact me and say, you seem to have your finger on the pulse of urban marketing, right? And we want to fund you to do some research and market scans for us. You all, that is not in my core competency. As entrepreneurs, we develop skills out of necessity, right? A lot of times. But this particular corporation brought us in December to build out a new revenue model for them, to go into a new market that will be an add-on for them. And I cannot tell you how much I am enjoying it. And this fall, that will be a new service that we'll offer because we'll be able to show that we've been successful at it. I want to say this: sometimes you got to keep going. Every year has not always been a successful year, but we still show up. And I think that is what lends to our success, right? I never give up. I never quit. I don't care what's happening, right? I'm going to always find a way. And so the tables turned at a point in your business, right? Sometimes it feels like you're always knocking on doors and always having to introduce yourself. There's something on the internet that says, keep doing it until you don't have to introduce yourself anymore. Right. That's what happens. And that is the truth, because now, honestly, I don't even do as much marketing. But what did I tell you? 31 years I've been out here doing it, right? So now, yeah, we're further along. I tell people, don't look at social media and think that, that just happened a lot of times. A lot of times that's many, many years in the works, right? And so you have to be intentional about what it is that you want. You have to keep showing up, do good work, and let your work speak for you. That's what I've done. I could do a ton more marketing, but we are swamped because we just let our work speak for ourselves. And I will tell you, word of mouth is the best marketing you could never have.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I would like to talk about MoguLCon, okay? Because looking at the website, watching video, I mean, I'm excited. I'm personally excited.
Hey,
so
listen, last year threw
everyone
a
here.
curveball for MoguLCon. So, Corey said something that you never thought. So last year, because of the pandemic, we did it virtual. And if anybody on here knows me, I'm trying to do it big, right? Whatever it is. And sometimes for me, big is small, right? And I said, why can't we do it like a television production? And so here we go. But I want to tell you, that thing stretched me in a way that, it's one thing to do a live event, but when you're doing a virtual event like that, and we're in a studio and there are 20 people in the background working, and we're trying to make things look good, and it's the first time. So of course, in the first 20 minutes were the hardest. I was pulling my hair out, people trying to get on, your help desk. I had an amazing help desk. Everybody was great, but I want to tell you, the comments that we got, because in that space, every minute has to be accounted for. The comments that we got, the emails that I continue to get of the life-changing moments that people had at MoguLCon. And I want to say this, yes, I'm a Black woman. Black women are attracted to me, right? So you'll hear me talk a lot about Black women. But honey, if you come to MoguLCon, we got everybody there. It's a melting pot of women, right? And men, right? So we have everybody there. And sometimes for me, when I get into the MoguLCon or even the nonprofit, you'll hear me talk a lot about Black women because that's my journey. That's what I know. But my clients are all types of people, right? We're a melting pot over here. And with MoguLCon this year, the master classes Because see, this is the thing for me. If you come to MoguleCon, I want you to leave with some business. So we do matchmaking. We bring in corporations. We bring in banks to talk to you about funding. We have coaches on site. And I am very particular about who's on my stage because I want to know that they put the work in, that they are successful at what they do, and they are actually helping people, right? We all know what I mean behind that. And one of the things, and this is our 6th year, and the reason you'll see a lot of times major corporations coming back year after year, and I'm going to tell you why, is there's not only a return of investment for the attendees, there's a return of investment for them. The return of investment is that they are looking for women-owned, minority-owned businesses that they can bring into their supply chain, that they can give contracts to, right? Because they have to meet their tier 1, tier 2 spend. That's what we fall into, right? And so at MoguleCon, we try to make sure that you get face-to-face with them. It warms my heart to hear people say, I came to MoguleCon and I got a contract, right? I got a contract with MARTA. I got a contract with Delta Airlines. I got a contract, whatever. And it's a cycle. Let me say that. They don't walk out the door with the contract, right? They build a relationship at MoguleCon. They get to pitch their business at MoguleCon. They get to see, is there a space for what they do? Because oftentimes people get excited, but I always say, do your research. So we'll list the companies, and we've gotten better over the years, because the first time we did this was 2 years ago. Delta Airlines sponsored our matchmaker. And what I've learned is that, and what you'll see happen this year, is that we're going to learn more about you and your business, because we want to make sure that we're matching you with the right businesses. So tickets will go on sale tonight at midnight. I promised that I was only going to launch it here first. So they'll go on sale tonight at midnight. It includes your meals, all your activities. There is only going to be one ticket. Now, we are doing a hybrid model this year because of COVID. And, even though I'm hopeful with the vaccine and all that. So normally we would do several hundred seats. This year, we're only going to do 100 seats. And then the rest of the tickets will be virtual once those sell out. And I want to make sure that, and for me, what's important is the individual experience of each person. I mean, honestly, each year it's almost like a reunion. And we don't have women that are just, we're based in Atlanta. These women come from all over the US, all over the world, that you'll meet at MoguleCon. And my goal is that we continue with the excellence and the continuity that we have displayed over these last 6 years.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And everyone, I put it in the chat. I put the link in the chat. I put the link in the chat for MoguleCon. It's moguleconlive.com. Check out the website, get more information. Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
This is amazing. Thank you for having me.
This has been so amazing. Oh, people in the comments, this has been amazing. Thank you. We're getting a lot of thank yous. This has been amazing. I have a mentor, but I want another one. You want
Think about it. Think about what it is that you want.
Yeah.
I appreciate you all inviting me and giving me this space to share my story.
Yeah.
And hopefully it inspire to touch someone. Just remember, if you don't remember anything else, success is your birthright.
Success is your birthright. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think.
And I want to say one quick thing, just one little quick thing. Let me go ahead and add myself here. Miss Felicia
Yes, sir.
Phillips. I appreciate the role model that you have been, and not an intentional role model, like you just been out there doing your thing. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but I'm gonna make sure that I say it today, that you have definitely been a role model for me, obviously a person being in the event space, looking at other people who are doing events. And, again, when you and I were first kind of meeting each other,
long time ago,
you had me in awe. Like I was like, wait a minute. Like, And that time that you, again, I tell this story to this day, and this was years ago. I tell this story to this day of when you had that event at Phillips Arena.
Yeah.
Like, and let me tell you, and when you told me how you did it, how you created that partnership with the WNBA with that, I was like,
yeah.
he
We
is a
put
genius.
300 seats, butts in the seats, right? Women's basketball is hard, right? But you know what? Here's what I say: where there's challenge, there's opportunity, right? Every day we walk past challenges, but that could be your $1 million baby right there. Okay, you just got to recognize it. But yeah, Phillips Arena, we did it. You know.
And you again, and just the friendship that you've given to me for all these years, to be able to, again, there's not many people who are just doing it at such a high level, but then also understands, oh, let me talk to people who are also coming up in the ranks. Like, let me, again, there's so many people who are like, yo, I'm in the clouds, and if y'all not in the clouds with me, then sorry, like, you are not that person.
And I'll tell you what, just as quickly as you can go up, you can come down. All right. It happens just like that. And I'm not perfect. Like, we still make mistakes, right? We still have challenges. It's just about this mindset and how you overcome it. That's the difference. I'm going to tell you, my mentor, I'm going to share this really quick. Usually by August of every year, my mentor has probably done over 700 million. The one thing I can tell you about him, he goes to bed, he wakes up, he does the same thing every day. Every day. He does not change. His consistency is what motivates me. He's focused, right? And he still makes time for me. He still makes time. And I know a lot of times people may say, oh, you don't have a woman for a mentor. I have a group, right, that I'm in, all women. But this particular mentor, I chose because I need to think outside the box, right? I need different relationships. And the women that I'm in the group with are powerful women. They have great relationships, but I knew he could bring something that they could not. And I was not afraid to ask. And I'm a servant leader, right? So I can lead and I can follow, right? And with him, I did not go to him and say, I want you to mentor me for free. There's a monetary exchange for his time. Okay. And then I wanted to share that because I think what happens a lot of times, people think mentorship and they think free, right? Y'all, free. Let me tell you what happens with free. They get busy. They don't have time to meet with you, right? They're only going to give you a little bit, right? Free is, I do that for the children. I do the mentorship for them. That's free. That's my give back. Nonprofits, I have nonprofits that I mentor, that I give my time back, right? And even with that, they give me, the form for my services and my time. We got to think strategic. Y'all better get me off of here. I'll talk.
Oh, listen, no, I just
you see the stuck, just like.
I just wanted to give you praise, and again, appreciating, what you've meant to me in my life, and how you've inspired me and how you continue to be an inspiration. So again, I truly appreciate you taking the time today.
Yeah.
I look forward to, MogulCon this year. I tell you, for those of you that are interested in going, one thing about Felicia, she does not do it small.
Oh, no. No. The investment we make in each attendee is mind blowing. People have no idea, but I love it. And I will
do it small.
Until they throw dirt on me, we're going to do Mogul.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome. Real good. Okay, now I give it back to you.
Well, I mean, I know we have to get into networking, but you know what? Let me say this in front of all the ladies. Like, I talked about how when I came on last event, I was surprised that everyone's like, oh, hi, Kate, and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I wouldn't have this platform without Corey. So I want to thank him for consistently pushing me to do things Even if I make faces and roll my eyes or whatever, I still do it. And he's nodding his head.
Hey, we got to force him to success,
Right.
Felicia. That's what we got to do.
And I think I said this. So if you go on the site now, yes, the replay is there of last year that you can get. The tickets will go on sale at midnight tonight.
Midnight tonight, guys. Midnight
Awesome.
tonight. I'll put it in the chat again. I know people are putting thank yous, and this is really great.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So.
Thanks, Felicia. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, guys, how's everybody doing? Can I see some reactions? Please. please. Because I'm when I tell you inside is jumping up like a jelly bean, it really is. It really, really is. Yes, this is great. Thank you so much.
Let's hear some nuggets. We got a couple minutes. Let's hear some nuggets.
A nugget or two. Come on, anybody. Let's get some nuggets out here. Unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself.
Hey, this is Jody Ann. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Jody Ann. Hi, Jody Ann.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm trying to turn off because I'm on 2 devices, guys. But there were so many power. I mean, if I were taking notes in an actual notebook, the notebook would be full. Like I'd be done. I'm like, okay, I can go home now. I need to go and make my list of 10 companies, go on LinkedIn, track them down, and make sure I know why I'm getting in contact with them. That was that. If I took away nothing else, it was that. But also, just the power of investing in your voice. And in Dr. Phillips's case, it was her grandmother that saw the value in her voice. And while we may not necessarily have a grandmother that can do that, or a benefactor that can do that, we can do that for ourselves. And so that we can be the grandmother that sees that in our future generations and be able to invest in them as well. So that really resonated with me so powerfully. And I'm going to have to go back to this recording and take even more notes, because that was beyond. And so I'm incredibly grateful for being here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jody Ann. Absolutely. Absolutely. I see a lot of people nodding their head as you were saying things. They're like, yes, absolutely. Yes. I need to make my list of 10 companies. Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. Any other nuggets? Angeline.
Yes, this is Angel. I thought it was great that we should all remember to bring the light to ourselves first and to our business next.
Start your day with you. Start your day with you. You can't keep pushing yourself and you don't have anything left. If your tank is empty, it's empty. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get another one. I want another one.
Hiya, Anna.
Hi, Hannah.
Hiya. I mean, I love the fact that she said she has another mentor that actually mentors her, and that mentor is actually a male. And you know, sometimes for women, we're not sure whether to go with a male or a female, but she made it clear that he had something that would actually help her to think outside of the box, you know, something that would empower and push her outside of the box, so that she can even be more of a greater leader and also influence and impact, you know, the people that she is actually supporting. So for me, especially, I feel like if you are the only one in the room and you know it all, it's time for you to live, right? So because we all need to be challengers, leaders. We all need to be, you know, in the midst of people who will actually encourage us, empower us for us to be able to thrive and be successful in our business. So that was a really great nugget I was going to take away from that.
Yes, Hannah. Thank you. Great point. All I was saying was that's a good point. It's you go with who you know can help you reach that next level. Period. So yeah. So we truly appreciate all of you guys for being here, and know that you were here for a reason. You were able to catch this live.
Good. So we are going to get into the network and say, who's ready to network? Yeah, hold on. I'm going to ask you, who's ready to network? Let's take this picture. Let me see those hands again. Awesome. Love it.